bit nervous, but I'm fine.
Me too, because for me the first this kind of interview I'm making, and I'm curious and excited how it's gonna be. So I would like to begin with to say a few words about you for the people who don't know who you are, for the people who haven't met you in person. Let's say something about your spiritual profile, and also about your day-to-day man profile, something like.
Spiritual profile, that's quite a strong expression. My spiritual profile is trying to do what I love and share it with other people. That's spirituality. And basically, meditation is in the practical matters. In day to day, I don't have any particular schedule or plan, or I function rather through impulse or through the moment. And my whole so-called spiritual life has been like this. I participated in this process or in the other process according to if it clicked or not clicked. There was not any plan or beforehand to do this in order to do that after or the other thing. It was, if my heart was broken, I did a group about relationships. If I wanted to go deeper in the meditation, I did a group about watching or things like this.
And can you tell us if this changed, or how it changed after you met Osho, like how you were before and how this...
How I was before? I was a Greek man. And I still am, but with a big part of it not Greek. And I don't know what is the other part. When I went to Osho, I was stuck in my life. I didn't see any prospects or any future or any something that will attract me. So I decided to ask help from somebody, and I've been meeting other people also before, but then when Osho came in my life, I mean through books, and I decided to go to ask help from this man.
So first you read some books, and then you decided to go to meet him, or how,
yes.
How it happened?
I read the book in March, and then I ended up in November of that year in India. But the process was not just I read the book and I go. No, I didn't surrender immediately. I fought a lot, and then I ended up with my back against the wall, and then I said, okay, I go, yeah. And I didn't know anything at that time. What is spirituality, what is meditation, what is enlightenment, what is all these things, nothing.
How old were you when you...
30.
When you went to India?
30.
And you took sannyas after...
I did a group which was called at that time Enlightenment Intensive. Today they call it Huizin. So I did a group, and after the group I decided to take sannyas. And again, it was not any energy phenomenon or any I saw things or I felt things or a high experience. It was more something in my heart told me that this is the right thing to do. And since that time it was a fight always between my mind and my heart being with Osho.
So you wanted to live in at some point, or what?
No, no, I didn't want to live him. But of course, the mind doesn't surrender easily in daily things, and but the heart was there. So every time was this, going in the heart and leaving the mind behind. I remember one conversation I had with my boss, because I used to work in a mala shop. I used to do malas. You know,
in Greece or in India?
In India, right. There was a machine we make the mala beads, wood lathe. I remember a conversation with him, because my first boss was a woman. I had big fights with her, so I went to the bigger boss and I told him I want to surrender with my heart. I wanted to surrender my mind with my heart. And he told me, I don't ask you to surrender your mind with your heart. I want you to surrender your mind. Not with heart or not heart, just to go beyond the mind. Yes. And
you know, I was thinking related to sannyas and what this means. Do you feel, I don't know, it was harder then to be an Osho sannyasin or than now, or do you feel any change in this?
Yeah, there is a lot of change.
Not only for you,
yeah,
of course, but I mean,
well, at the time of Osho, sannyas was a path of a discipline, of to be a disciple, and basically the core of it was a love affair. And through love, being in love with the master, you surrender your ego to the master, and that is the use of the master. You trust. And after, I don't know, it is difficult for me to look at today how sannyas is happening without going through my experience. Today people, I take a name. Okay, it's good to take a name, but why you take a name? What is the function? What it signifies? What is the symbolism of taking a name? What is this? This is a difference for me. And at that time also there were of course people who were not in love with the show.
Yeah, I was thinking also about you know, how the society looks at let's say Osho people, you know. Like
yeah, the society was crazy at the time. We had to wear red or go also. Imagine me in Athens going on with them outside. They asked me all kind of stupid questions. It was basically being exposed. And basically is you expose your ego to be laughed at because you look quite funny in the West. Yeah. But it was Osho there. It was, as long as he was alive, was a heart there, a source of inspiration. Still today is, of course, a source of inspiration. At that time, it was always the unexpected, because today everything he said is in the books. There is not any book coming or something. But that moment he could say something and or do something and change everything.
I wanted to ask you also, you know, about let's say the Osho approach to meditation, to spiritual path. If you, what would you say that is his uniqueness, like you know, like a difference from other approaches? If you also, I don't know, tried other techniques or something, or
his uniqueness is love. Loving the meditation, loving the human side, loving the body, and Basically, Osho is a master of love. This is his technique.
It's the first time I hear this.
Yeah, he's a tantric master, Osho. And accepting oneself, loving yourself, and then going deeper. And loving the body, that's what is all this story about calling him the sex guru. He loves the body and says, you have to have the body, you have to live the body. And sex is the first energy, and then you go further than that. But you cannot neglect it or put it by or bypass it or postpone it or repress it. And another big quality that from Osho, if I can say two more, it is being always stressing the here now. Here now. It's magic, it's so simple, but here now is the whole thing. And the third one, if I could say, for me is being total. Being total. And then you don't need anything more.
But I find somehow that these are qualities like you have it or you don't have it,
Yeah. Osho always said that you can start from love and go to the watching, or you can start from the watching and go to love. These two, you need both. And you can start from either side. But to be here now is something to cultivate it. To be here now is totally taking somebody out of the mind, so it is a practice. It's the biggest practice in meditation, to be here now. Because indirectly you watch, indirectly you connect to the body, indirectly you connect to the breathing or do things here now. So it is a very big tool and gift. And it's easy because our body is always here now. I don't know, for me this is important. And watching, I never had a good connection with watching. And, watching happens subsequently.
Let's talk a little bit about Romania now.
Okay.
So, how many visits did you do to Romania for up to now?
This is the fourth time I come to Romania.
And how do you feel? How do you feel now? And how you felt? I don't know, after the first trip to Romania. What the impression?
Well, it was very beautiful. It was very warm welcome, and I met people who were very enthusiastic. I remember the first time was a Sufi workshop I did, and it was beautiful. I felt also, in some ways, at home also. It's like all this big, all this area of the Balkans is a home I can relate to culturally, through traditions, through the Christianity. I can relate to a lot. And the people, I felt, yes, they were very enthusiastic, and they received me very warmly.
And let's say, generally speaking, about not only the meditating people, I suppose it was a workshop group or something,
yeah.
But like the people also you meet on the streets or something.
Yeah, I can connect. They are people who express themselves. They are basically Latins. People come to talk to me in Romania, I don't understand, I answer to them in Greek, and then we laugh and then we go. I mean, it's no problem. It's
Can you pin like let's say a most visible quality and a vice of Romanian people from your
vice?
Vice, like I don't know, like an imperfection, something that can be improved.
About this, I don't know. I can only say that I felt that there are. I felt going the trams in the train, meeting the people, that they are I see the daily life of the people working, housewives, shopping, students, going, coming, and it is something I can relate to very much. It's something that more real than if I go to a place where everybody is dressed in expensive clothes or drives cars and this. I can see that people are working and trying and to live their life, and about quality, I have to think vice. Vice is a very strong word.
Sorry,
yeah,
I didn't find I don't know, like if you talk about a person, we say that he has the best quality and something the worst. Like Gurdjieff used to say, you know, every man has this.
I don't know
one
what is the quality. Oh. When I start thinking about quality, I might enter the world of judgments, you know, because it doesn't come in the first thing. If later on it comes, I'll tell you.
Okay. I'd like also to speak about your relationship with the Sufi world, you know, because also for me and here maybe you noticed in Romania there is a strong how should I say affinity, like a feeling of closeness to this Sufi world.
Yes.
And maybe you can tell me how you entered this this world and what it means to you practically and spiritually, you know. Like
yes. It all started casually, as usual, which is nothing. All started accidentally, which at the end nothing is accidental. You know, I did a group in Pune, and then I participated in the ceremony, and then I came to Greece, and then a voice inside me tell me, you do an evening event. I said, no way. He said, no, you can do it. And I knew I could do it, and I did it. And then the voice said, okay, you do now a one-day event. I said, no. The voice said, yes, you can do it. That's how it started, and I didn't practically have any training. Most of the things came from inside, and it is a part of me that I can connect to it very much. And it is also has to do with my roots, because I was born as a Greek in Turkey. All my childhood I learned this world to be a world of the others, which I disliked, I hated. It was part of the Turkish world, and it was very, very strange for me to connect with this world. And actually this world helped me to heal my grudge, my bitter feelings with the Turkish people. And because my conditioning is to be a Christian. So this
a Greek Orthodox Christian.
Yes, a Greek Orthodox Christian. And the funny thing is that in countries like Romania or Greece, which are Christian, or in others, they have this attraction to Sufism. When in Turkey, people are, because traditionally it was a repressed religion, they feel alienated and they feel afraid, and until the recent years it was even forbidden to practice this thing. So going to Turkey, I felt an awe, like me, a Greek Orthodox Christian, I'm gonna teach Sufism there, but they are more open, and somehow the Sufi tradition is more clean and pure in us because it's fresh. When there is loaded with a lot of political situations. And there is nothing to do with any religion practically, or with any country. Is the existence with the whole, without any intermediary, without any priest or bishop or anybody. So it has an immediate approach.
So you didn't connect with any Sufi master or something? It's just through Osho and his...
Yeah, in Osho I met Videnov, which he's doing Sufi work. He's an Italian Sufi
I know about it.
teacher, and I did with him one workshop. That was it. And everything happened, evolved by itself.
Okay. You tell about workshops, and I'm a little bit curious about how the process of, let's say, preparing and also keeping an workshop, like supporting it. And I remember once I've read in Radha's book, maybe you heard about her,
Yeah.
a tantric teacher.
Yes.
And she was telling about how nervous she was when before an workshop, because she didn't want it to have a plan like I'll do this and I'll do this, and to have everything established. She was very nervous what was going on, but she still refused to have this mind approach, you know. And I was I'm curious about you, how you, when an workshop comes, how you, I don't know, prepare or something. If how much is something like you have to pass through, or how much is spontaneity and.
It is for me. I am in this field. I am self-taught. I learned everything and designed myself. Like there are other processes which are famous, which are taught, and they are going from one person to another, and they have a
like in school or something. Or
yeah, a format. You know how to teach this, how to do this group. There are some groups going on around in the Sannyas world that they are been going around now 20 years or 15 years, the same format. For me, I never had a training in a particular. When I started doing sessions and then events and this, little by little I connected through my experience and through my imagination how I would present this work to the people and how I could show them how I could bring them where I want them to go, so they can see what I'm trying to tell them. So it requires a lot of research. For me, part of the work is also reading books and about the subject also, and finding music. For me, music also opens a lot the space. So always, I am nervous, of course. I am insecure, and this is part of it. Now I'm used to it. But the moment I go up there and I stay there, somehow something else happens. I click to the intuition and then I go. And this is also a safeguard, a key to keep humbleness. This insecurity helps to keep the ego in check.
Very interesting.
Because you cannot say, I know. I know is in the world of the mind, but in this particular moment, I don't know. So I have different tools. I have different tricks in my pocket. Which one I use, I don't know. It depends on the moment. And also the moment is not something abstract. Very much depends on the people. For example, a Sufi group, the idea is to bring them to the heart space. So I'm gonna use of course, I'm gonna use things to bring them to the heart. And if they are difficult, if there are people a lot in their mind, or there are people in doubt or suspicious, or then it is difficult. And it is difficult. And sometimes I say, my God, how am I going to open their heart space? Because sometimes I feel I don't feel good myself, or I have my own issues. I say, how? And then I have to jump and start swimming. And one thing that always helps me, I always try to be real. I never pretend to know better than the other. I say, okay, we are together, we explore together. Whatever we create the energy, this will come out. So it's not me showing them and telling them how they have to feel. No, everybody has to participate. And another thing is, of course, inside me I feel insecure, I feel this, I feel that, all these things, but outside I try to inspire people and I keep the tension inside me. And because of this it is tiring, because everybody sees out me being very relaxed and flowing, and at the end of the process I am tired, because then I can relax really, because the other time when I have the responsibility, I am relaxed, but deep down I have also the tension of the responsibility. I gave you some answers. And also it is connecting to this space, loving what I want to do. It is not just a process, I took it and I copied it and I blah blah it, you know. I loving it and trusting in the process, and trusting also in the master. I remember, maybe it sounds a little bit for some people a little bit strange, but it is part of the thing. I am contributing, I am doing things, but I am not doing everything myself. It's not my thing, it is happening, and Osho's presence and support has a lot to do with it. I see it again and again and again.
Now I have one question. Hope you don't throw with stones at me. Can you tell me the most embarrassing moment from your workshop, like facilitator? Something like when you felt like, wow, this shouldn't have happened, or something.
Something that I did, or something that happened.
Something that happened, not necessarily.
Basically, I open myself a lot to feel the people, and I become vulnerable. And I'm not very good in protecting myself. I remember one process that in Greece that I asked people to close their eyes, and there was a guy constantly keeping the eye open, and then finally I told him with the name, close your eyes. And then in the break he attacked me. He started swearing at me. This was a very, very bad experience. I couldn't protect myself.
He attacked you in front of the others, or?
Yeah. I even thought of stopping the workshop. It was one day. And then what I do usually, I spoke about it to everybody. And I told them I feel like this. I feel like I don't want to continue. What do you want? Let's vote.
And what happened?
They voted to continue. But I was shaken, remember. I don't have this, I know for myself, I'm good in sharing the heart, I'm good in bringing other people to the heart. But in other parts I have issues, so I could not protect myself in this. this is something and I always try to find the my responsibility in this. How I could have done it. How I could have protected myself. Or whatever.
And can you tell us about the touching moment, like maybe some
in a workshop?
In a workshop. Something you remember like very strong there.
There are many touching moments. A touching moment is when I am in a place where completely unknown people. Even it was one moment like this last December in Istanbul, and with Turkey, because of my past, this is very vibrating, sharing the heart there and seeing the people responding and opening their heart, and me talking about the healing process. It was very strong. A very, very, very strong touching moment was once in a Reiki workshop in Greece. I really felt that I connected with each one from the heart. And then I started, then tears came in my eyes, and I said to them, this is what I do. Since the child, I always wanted to make my friends happy. That was a strong moment. Yeah, this is, I always want to make people happy. That's why behind what is Sufism, behind what is Reiki, behind what is inner child, what basically this is the motive, to make people happy and bring them in the heart. And for me, when I'm there, then Osho is in my heart. I'm with Osho, you know.
One last question, and then we end up. You know, we have here in Romania set up a meditation center for about one year and a half or something. And I want to ask you, from your experience, what would you say is the most important thing, you know, in creating and maintaining an Osho center, to have a strong and stable status?
Well, a meditation center is like a river. You have to keep on pouring water in it every day. Continuity and love and acceptance of people. Because if you put a lot of energy and it doesn't come back, somebody gets hurt. Somebody once doing a meditation center must be prepared not to receive anything back. You do it for yourself. Basically, a center is a process that it is like a group, and participants are the people who run the center. They go through so many spaces. So sometimes acknowledgement comes, reward comes, but this is secondary. And in a town like Bucharest, where people have their daily life, they have their work, they have their money issues, or they, like everywhere, everybody has fears and this or that. Maybe one time they come 15 people and the next time they come only 2. So you should,
it happened.
You should not be disappointed. And putting your heart there, and your putting your heart in the continuity, like giving the people the message, okay, I'm here. And even if they don't come 10 times, still you keep on telling them. But with fresh energy all the time.
Yeah, no, I was thinking somehow related to how the body works and how the body works.
Yeah.
That the cells are continuously replaced and new cells come. When I saw like new people coming, and this is how what I saw, that constantly new people come to Osho Joy events, and I was thinking that this is like a measure of aliveness, like,
yes.
you know, if new people come, it means that new, like in a body, new cells are
and
coming.
they hear it from other people, like
yes.
the word is passed on.
Yes.
And what happens here happens also in other cities, that the energy is split. They are not all the people together. But this is something also part of how the things are.
Like two or,
No,
or
there are-
more rivers
Yeah,
going to.
yeah. And the thing is not to provide very exciting, extraordinary subjects, issues to excite people, you know. Meditation, a simple thing, you know. Kundalini dynamic, something to have fun, to enjoy, to celebrate, and of course, parties. But parties with sometimes you don't know, like many people don't come to meditation and they come to the parties. But you never know how somebody will come to the meditation. Maybe needs to come to 3, 4 parties and then decides to come. So we don't know. And the thing is that people to feel that you are loving to them. Like if somebody didn't come for 10 times and comes 11th time, not to give them any reproach. To accept them and be fresh. And for this it is good that you are few people together, you can work together. For one person it's very difficult. It's good that you are a team. And you are a good team.
Thank you. I also feel this.
Yeah.
Somehow there is a.
For me, the whole thing started with Ojos, you know. I met him in Lesbos, and that's how I came through him.
Okay. Thank you for your time and.
Thank you for this completely new experience.
You're welcome.